Hey everybody, Peter Parks here with DNA Wealth Blueprint 3.0. Welcome back. And in this module, what we're going to be going over is how to build your ultimate CPA campaign and back-end profit machine. So this has been one of the best proven strategies that I've been able to work with over the last 5 to 6 years as I was running my CPA business. This has been over 140 different niche markets. This has been since 2008 up until currently last year. And I've generated in the last 5 years well over $168 million doing this. So this is the extremely meaty module. You're going to have to pay attention. You're going to have to watch this probably 3 or 4 different times. I'm going to pause throughout this because I'm going to be taking water breaks. I have a little bit of a dry throat right now. So let's get into it. The first thing you always want to do, and you're going to need to get xmind.com. That's xmind.com or .net, I think it is. We'll probably have a resource link for you if you don't already have it, but you need to get that to open up this mind map so that you can look at it yourself. Okay? So, and by the way, this is how you scale out. So I'm going to be going over one market offer with you, and at the end of it, you're going to know how to replicate this process and do this in 10 different markets or 5 different markets or 50 different markets, depending on what your flavor is. Totally up to you. But I'm going to give you the process from, I'm not going to be cliche A to Z, but I'm going to give you the process. So this all starts with the research of 5 offers in any mass market vertical. You need to understand who your leverage points are and who your assets are. They are your affiliate manager, they are the advertiser, there are other super affiliates that you have relationships with. There's groups of super affiliates that you merge with on Skype and not on social media, because the real giant players don't play on social media. And then obviously you got to go to the events. The culmination of that is you're going to be getting very specific intel depending on the type of offers that you want to run or the type of verticals that you want to get into. You're going to understand and know where to push forward in that. So let me go through this. So one of the big things, one of the big tools you need really is you need industrial strength tools along with um, the affiliate manager, the advertiser. You're going to need to get like either ad beat, and this time, yes, I'm going to put my affiliate link in there. Everything I do from this point onwards, whatever it's type of affiliate promotion, I'm donating a large chunk of my proceeds to cancer research and charity and stuff like that. So if you think the money's going in my pocket, it's not, right? But you need industrial strength tools like AdBeat, What Runs Where, Similar Web Pro, just to be able to look with your own 2 eyes what's going on in the competitive landscape. So that's really kind of step 2, but step 1 in the process. Step 2 in the process, and by the way, I'm going to go very step by step with you here so that you understand. And I'm going to have to put this down here so that you focus and pay attention here with me. Give me a quick second here while I work this mind map. You need to be able to do your math. Okay, so on a CPA offer, if the payout's 45 bucks CPA, you are going to be testing a combination of things. Now, I'm not going to say here that I'm going to say here right now that less than 1% of the super affiliates actually talk about this, but 99% of the 99% of the other affiliates kind of screw this up. So in regards to the actual payout, you're not actually spending up to the payout on an offer when you're advertising or when you're looking at how much should you spend on your ad campaign to test an offer. You have to think about it completely differently. You have to think about the offer combined with the ad and the landing page, which means your capital investment, your capital resources. What does it take? Is your time and your energy. Are you outsourcing? Do you have a team? Are you looking to build a team? All that factors into what you're going to spend. So that's literally 3 to 5x times right there your payout, or the spend that you're going to be required to build your campaign. So keep that in the back of your mind, because you need to think about the cost of the infrastructure to build everything, and you need to factor that into whether or not you are even going to think about promoting an offer. So if you're thinking about promoting a $2 offer as an affiliate, like a $2 zip offer, well, it's not actually $2. You're not actually spending $5 on a campaign to see if you can convert on a $2 zip submit. You have to think about this now. You have cost, you have time, you have energy, you have capital infrastructure. You have to go and get services, you have to get hosting, you have to get the landing page. If you have a team, you have to pay the team. So think about that. Now, obviously there's other metrics involved with that, but we won't get into that right now. But that's going to give you a gist of really what you really need to do, what you really need to think about. Okay, let's get this going here. So step 3. Here's where these are some guidelines that I run with. If your ROI is less than 30% to start, this is not an offer that you really want to entertain, as well as optimizing or scaling, because sooner or later your ad cost is going to catch up to you, and you're going to be going through and burning through your ad spend faster than you can get your conversions and your payouts. So understand something. For a newbie and affiliate to get your feet wet, which I hope no newbies actually got the course because this is a little bit more advanced, but if you're a newbie and you're watching this and you're thinking, this is good for you to get your feet wet so that you understand affiliate marketing. For you higher intermediate and you more advanced affiliates, I mean 30%, let's face it, that's going to be, yes, you can fiddle around with it, optimize it, try to scale it and grow it, but really 20 to 30%, I mean, you might as well go get an offer that you know that you can convert quicker and run longer, that's going to make you more bread. Okay. Whoops, let me back up here. Sorry, I forgot about step 2B here. Very important. So once again, let me backtrack here. So after you need to consider the other metrics. The first thing you want to do is you want a direct link. So that's 2B in the process, step 2B. Is you want a direct link because you need to test the advertiser's VSL / sales page. You need to test the strength of their offer. So if you hear all this you see all this competitive intelligence and you get all this feedback, then you go run, you want to test the advertiser's offer. Before you build anything out, you direct link. I don't care if it's going to Facebook, I don't care if it's going to Bing ads, I don't care if it's going to display. You do your best to direct link because you need to get metrics, you need to build data. Okay, let's move on here. So step 4 is if the ROI is less than 50%, of course, yes, you're going to need to work a little bit harder to buy data to see if you can get some conversions. Then you have to decide whether or not to invest another round of funding to see if you can make a lot more money. So here's the thing. Anything like 30% less for a beginner affiliate. If you're more intermediary, you've been in the game a little bit, not so much advanced, but you're getting up in there, 50%, if you can't make a campaign convert at 50%, you're going to have a hard time because of what I talked about in step 1, right? And step 2, right? So you need to do your numbers, you need to crunch down the math. Also, most offers, like I say, if they're going to convert, they're going to convert pretty good with small adjustments and tweaks to the landing page and to the funnel. But if you have to work extra hard at a couple more conversions, is it really going to be worth it for you to push yourself past that point? So most affiliates at this point, they'll be happy with 40% or less ROI, but eventually at the end of the day, 40% is good, but at the end of the day, if you're trying to scale, Let's get real. If you're trying to push those high five figures to six-figure months, 40% ROI, you're going to get eaten up. You're just going to be spinning your wheels. You could actually be in the negative. You could be negative 40% ROI. So never mind being positive 40% ROI, you could be negative because you're kind of spinning your wheels now. So think about what you need to do, okay? Step 4B to this process is if you can get this up to 50% beyond, okay, you're looking pretty good. So what I would suggest you do after direct linking now is you start to build out your funnel, which means you start to get an advertorial set up, a compliant advertorial. If you want to do this long term, and I'm going to explain to this later on why you want to do this long term. You want to get your email opt-in set up on your advertorial or on your content rich product landing page, because this is going to be where your new home is. Now, when it comes to testing, you're going to be able to need to split test 3 advertorials. With those 3 advertorials, you're going to be needing to split test 3 headlines, 3 types of images, 3 types of calls to actions. Now, if you're going to be wondering how you need to do this, well, I use CPV Labs. Now, you can use, I guess you can use Volume. I've never used it, so I don't know. I know they can go down a few different layers, but with CPV Labs and Landing Page Genius as your optimization workhorse, with CPV Lab, you can go down up to 30 levels deep. So you can get 30 different metrics at once, and that's going to be a game changer for you when you're trying to scale. Okay, so that's just my recommendation. So 4C, again, if your ROI is greater than 50% now, then you're going to need to put a daily budget into place and prepare to invest in really optimizing the campaigns before you really consider your scaling. So in a nutshell, the rule of thumb that I like to follow by is you're going to need to be able to hit a minimum of 100% ROI for at least 2 weeks minimum before you even consider scaling. Why do you do that? Because like I said, you've got capital costs, you've got investments. If you're a solo affiliate guy, then this is not applicable to you. This is applicable to you if you have a team, you're thinking about having a team, you've got other capital expenses going into your campaigns, you want to recoup your advertising costs, you need to be 100% ROI or more, right? Like I said, if you're a solo guy, then 50 to 70% ROI is okay. You can pretty much set it on autopilot and you'd be lazy, like the bulk of affiliates are. But if you're a real strong affiliate, that's not good enough for you, because eventually what's going to happen is your ad spend is going to catch up to you, especially when you're trying to scale. That 50 to 75% is going to shrink. It's going to go to 40 to 30. So, like I say, if you have a team and other capital expenses, then nothing less than 100 to 150% ROI, that's every day, and that's on a good 2 to 3 week term, is acceptable because you need to do your infrastructure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause and I'm going to close this down to get onto the other side of the chart. So give me a quick second. All right, so now we're back. So everything that is said and done, if you're doing 100 to 150% and more ROI, and you're doing that every day consistently for 2 to 3 weeks, you're optimizing and you're optimizing. Now you're beginning to want to go and scale. This is when you've done over 100% plus steady ROI, okay? So this is what you need to think about. So step 1 in this process is, at this point, optimization and scale is the name of the game. And that means either now that you want to go either, ask the network or the advertiser to start to float you credit, terms for your ad spend so that you can start to get massive volume. This is what a lot of affiliates, this kind of cracks me up and it kind of makes me sad at the same time. Like, if your traffic is good quality traffic, you've gone through your traffic audits, I'm going to explain this. I'm actually going to open this up so we can talk about this. This because it's really crucial that you get this. At the time of you doing this, this is the process of you need to be able to get credit terms. You need to be able to get float because you want to be able to scale. The reason why you're wanting to do this is because you need to be able to leverage all of your leads that you're collecting because you're capturing data. So that means you built, like I said, an email list. You built capture mechanism so you can capture all your leads, which means either email opt-in on the side, a slider footer, before you're sending the leads to the advertiser, because you want, first and foremost, you want to be able to build that list. That list is your asset. Time and time and time again, I've seen affiliates that just throw leads at the advertiser and they don't capture that data for themselves on the front end. If your question is, well, doesn't that hurt conversions? Yes and no. Yes, it can lower your conversions, but guess what? You're going to get higher quality leads. So when you recycle those leads back and give them to the advertiser, they're stronger leads for the advertiser. That's going to help out your traffic. That's going to help out your audit. That's going to help you when it comes time for you to go back and renegotiate terms. So keep that in the back of your mind. So if you're wondering how to get buyers, then there's a couple of different ways that you can get buyers, right? So you can ask the advertiser for the buyers. You can ask the advertiser for a small sample of the buyer data because you want to be able to retarget those buyers for the advertiser because the advertiser usually has more offers across the network. So if the buyer has bought something from the advertiser, 8 times out of 10, most advertisers don't do anything with the buyers list. And that's just a fact. So why not, if you have a good relationship with the advertiser, why not you go ask the advertiser for a small buyers list, the data list, explain to them why you need them because you want to be able to retarget those buyers for other offers that are beneficial for the advertiser. If you structure it in that manner, 9 times out of 10, when you structure it that manner, you build a relationship with the advertiser, they will give you a small list of the buyers so that you can go give them what's called proof of concept. So you can go take that list, you can run it through Facebook, you can do a retargeting campaign on Facebook. You can break that buyers list down into a lookalike audience to scale it out so that you can get more data and you can get more conversions for the advertiser, right? This is what I call the gold mine to triple profits because most of the hard work is already done. You've already acquired the lead on the front end. You're nursing that lead. You've got paid for it. All the sales on the back end now for the advertiser, this is going to be cost effective for you because you don't have to do that much more marketing or that much more heavy marketing on the back end to get those buyers to convert again for another sale because you're using either the retargeting service that I'm talking about, which is Retargeting Cloud, or you're retargeting on Facebook, or you're using one of the other retargeting platforms. And this is, at the end of the day, this all puts money in your pocket. So let me close this down. So let me go into what this looks like and the big reason why you're doing all this. Step 2 in this whole entire process, right? So if you're asking me now, well, how's the network gonna, or how's the advertiser gonna float, give me some credit? This is what you need to do. You need to go back to the networks you're running on and renegotiate your terms. Now that you've got history, now that you've got great audit on your traffic, your leads, your buyers are converting, you want to renegotiate everything, which means the offer terms, the payout terms, the frequency of the payout, the landers that you're using. You can get the network or the advertiser to develop custom landers for you. You can push the envelope, so you no longer want to be on the street payout. So what that basically means is you no longer want to be getting the payout like everybody else is, what the street level payout is, because you've proven yourself. right? You're scaling at this point. You've gone beyond scale, right? So what I'd like to do is usually after 2 months, give or take, depending on your relationship, 2 to 3 months is a good point of payouts. You've got good rebuild history, which means your leads are converting your buyers are converting like crazy. When the rebuilds come in, you've got a high rebuild retention. You've got very, very, very low refunds, very few chargebacks. You've built the trust with the advertiser. Like the advertiser is going to bend over backwards to keep you, right? This is when you strike. It's your job to make sure you leverage all of this again for your best output. Because at the end of the day, when it all comes down to it, at the end of the day, the network or the advertiser really don't care about you. They don't give a rat's ass about you. All they care about is your traffic. So at the end of the day, you need to be able to make sure that you prepare yourself and you think strategic and you think long term and you think about building out an asset. Now, if you're going through the network route, then your affiliate manager is going to be your go ahead person that's going to make sure that they get this done for you. You're going to have to push them hard. And if they can't do it, then you're going to have to get an experienced, well seasoned affiliate manager in that network, go to the top of the food chain and say, hey, listen, I'm doing scale. I'm doing 6 figures with you guys a day. This is what I want now. This is how you need to help me out to continue to grow so everybody wins. You position the conversation like that, shit's going to roll downhill and stuff's going to get done. Don't be greedy, don't be forceful, but position it and be in a position of leverage because you can always go, and this is part 2 to this, or step 3. If the network doesn't want to work with you after all of this, then you need to go direct to the advertiser and develop the relationship and cut out the middleman. Period. It's not emotional. Don't get emotional. The first step is to work with the network. If the network doesn't want to play ball with you, then fine, cut them out because they'll cut you out in a heartbeat. Go direct to the advertiser. Now, here's the thing here's kind of one of the caveats. If you go to the advertiser, there's a risk there with just working with the advertiser that, the pay terms may not be what you want them. The network kind of does have your back, so you are going to get paid. Depending on the network, you get paid every time. The advertiser may be slow to pay you. So there's a couple different things that you need to kind of get straightened out if you're going to work exclusively with the advertiser, right? This only works for super affiliates that are doing high volume. When I'm talking thousands of sales a day, they'll get this type of a deal. Thousands of leads a day, that kind of stuff, we'll get that stuff done. So unless you can bring leverage to the table and introduce 2 advertisers together, that is another form of leverage that you can work to your advantage because what you're doing now is you're introducing 2 advertisers that may or may not know of each other. They've got complementary added on products that will work good together with each other. They're synergistic. You can bring 2 of those guys, 2 of those advertisers together and go in the middle and take a piece of the pie from both sides of the angle. So another way that this can work is if you want to work with a new up and coming network or an advertiser who desperately needs the sales, you can start to leverage your traffic. So there's CPA networks that are up and coming all the time. There are advertisers that are always coming into the space. They want to get an influx of cash coming in because they need to recoup some of their investments because they're now tying up a lot of their capital. So if you've got the traffic and you show them that you got the traffic, you can work out deals with them exclusively where sometimes an advertiser doesn't even want to go to a network. Like a lot of advertisers, if they don't want to work with a network, if they would rather not work with a network, a lot of advertisers would rather find a handful of super affiliates, some monster mailers, and they're set for life. That's all they need. They cut out the network completely. They want to bypass it together, right? Now, here's the reason why you're all doing this. All this is all leading up to your ultimate profit machine is because at the end of the day, you may want to become an advertiser yourself. So after you've gone through this stage, this is the ultimate. What you want to do is you want to become an advertiser, which is step 4 in this process, which is what I'm going to build out for you. Is at the end of this clip, you want to be the advertiser. So you own the race course, you are the casino, right? Now, when you have the offer, you now control the board and you have the ultimate leverage points because that's what's happening at the end of the day. You can have your own in-house media buying team. You can have super affiliates that have exclusivity with you that are wanting to push your offers. So you can pick and conduct business with who you want. You can do it on your terms. So you can have exclusivity or not, right? You have the ability now to go to get third-party mailing brokers, and you can strike a deal with them to monetize your buyers on the back end and with your terms, which is actually optional because it's extremely lucrative after you've done your this. So you need to do your due diligence because there's a lot of mailers out there that are corrupt. You need to find good mailers, strong mailers, good list brokers that know how to do the segmentation, that know how to be can spam compliant, that know how to mail from IP blocks of like 50,000 chunks and above, stuff like that. These mailers are big mailers. They're mailing big. So these are the ones that you want to get in your back pocket, right? So what happens here is you have the maximum leverage and you have twist against all your offers because at the end of the day, when you're running on the front end, on the back end, this is what's building up for you. This is how you're going to be building your ultimate profit machine and your ultimate asset, right? So in this right here, most lead gen offers, they have different parts of revenue that many advertisers don't realize because they're making so much money, they just kind of ignore it. It's just sitting out there. So this is where you kind of need to be smart. So again, as I say here, you could be exclusive. You could sell your leads and buyers to a third-party data source so they can turn around and profit. And that's going to help you squeeze every ounce of profit out of that lead or that buyer. Now, you do this ethically, of course. For those of you that got the first version of DNA Wealth Blueprint 1.0, I showed you 7 different ways of how to make money from a lead that has turned into a buyer. I showed you 7 different ways of how to do that. I'm not going to go over it now because that was a couple of years ago. It's still intact. It's still very viable. It still works. There's just 7 different ways that you can get a buyer, get them to buy 7 different things, get them to buy 2 or 3 different things at once. So their credit card, I mean, you do it ethically. I'm not going to really get into it actually, but that you can do that. Okay. Now, here's the caveat to this. You always want to make sure if you're going to go down that path that you have multiple buyer paths because you want to be able to have full negotiation rights with various partners. So if you have 2 or 3 list owners that are coming up to you or mailers that are coming up to you and you have a couple of super affiliates, you want to be able to be in the driver's seat. You want to be able to have maximum leverage so that you can get terms on your end because what's going to happen, especially if there's cap involved, what happens to you is you need to be able to have other sources that are able to pick up that excess cap in a heartbeat so that you can continue to move the machine, right? So the money continues to flow to you. A lot of advertisers hit their cap. That's why they stop the offers, right? And some affiliates, some super affiliates, they don't like that. And they get redirected to other offers that may not be conducive to their particular traffic. And that comes into play where, they kind of lose a lot of money. So you always, if you're going to go down this path, you want to make sure that you have multiple paths, multiple buyer paths. So you really never have that much of an issue with cap because you already have the offers set up that are highly similar to your already existing offer. You've got mailers ready to go. You've got super affiliates ready to go that are going to send more sales to you, right? And here's the reason why sometimes you have cap, because some of the manufacturers simply cannot handle the volume. So why would you want to cut yourself out if you've got 3 to 5 other buyers? You can sell your buyers to 2 or 3 other sources, like manufacturers, like the mailers, so that they can pick up the excess for you and you're able to churn. So at the end of the day, you never want to deal with one manufacturer. So if you're doing supplements, you want to make sure that you have at least 2 or 3 manufacturers on speed dial. You want to make sure that you have at least 2 of them on retainer, so that when you hit your cap and super affiliates are pushing, you can redirect, and also comes with your merchant accounts as well. You want to be able to make sure that you rotate you want to have excess mids, because you want to be able to make sure that you're rotating all your mids. You want to be able to make sure you're rotating your manufacturers. So literally cap becomes almost next to non-existent. I know there's a couple of advertisers out there. I've talked to them. They have cap is only a security issue. So what that basically is smart advertisers put cap on because they want to look at the traffic. They want to make sure that the traffic is high quality traffic. They got to audit that traffic. At the end of the day, when they trust you, and this is over a period of months, they trust you because, again, you've got high rebill, you've got low refund, hardly any chargebacks. That's when your cap is going to get lifted. So you're not even going to have that issue. And that's why super affiliates love it, right? But at the same time, now as the advertiser, because you're building out your profit machine, you want to be able to make sure that you have your mid set up, and you want to make sure that you have your manufacturing set up so that you can rotate. So literally cap is non-existent to you, but you can still have cap on the front end to keep everybody at bay. That's what you want to be able to do. So in a nutshell, that's why you do all this. I know this was a meaty module for you. I'm going to shut down the video now. I want you to look at how you build out your ultimate CPA profit machine and back end, because this is how it's done. So you're going to need to go over this module quite a few times, probably if you're a beginner. This is going to be like 30,000 mile high view thinking. If you're intermediary going to advanced, this is where you want to get to eventually. Yes, if you want to be an affiliate, that's great. You want to stay an affiliate, that's great. Ultimately, the name of the game is you want to be an advertiser. You want to be able to own the race course. You want to be able to own the casino, all right? That's the name of the game. My name is Peter Parks with DNA Wealth Blueprint 3.0. I'll see you in the next module. Take care, everybody.